I'm calling up Laura in New York. Tell her about the passing of Frankie, and I hope I get through to her. I want to show her all the things, Hope she answers.
Hey Joe, how are you?
Laura, how you doing?
We're doing fine. We actually moved back onto the property.
I just want to tell you that I had to let little Frankie go to heaven on May 22nd.
Oh, Frankie went to heaven on May 22nd.
And I want to thank.
Tom up with me. I'm so sorry to hear that, Joe.
Oh, it's all right. Thank you both. And
I'm back with you. So what happened?
I'm just, still. It's been a real drag. Let's just put it this way. The seizures started in December. I never really told you about them,
No, you did. You told me a little bit about it.
And they became more numerous. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
as these things were not working, these medicines, I started to say, started to talk to my mom about it, and we were trying to figure out, well, what happens if this dog is gonna pass away in my arms with a severe attack? I'd feel real bad if it happened, And time was going on, little by little. I just said to myself, I said, I got to start thinking about the future. I got to start saying, is this dog staying around for me and vice versa because we love each other so much? And what condition is he living in under these stallings of putting him off? And I put it off. He had a bunch of seizures. The medicine, the phenobarbital, wasn't working. And I said, I just can't, I can't keep him going anymore. He's whimpering. He's not himself. He was not reacting to things the way he had done so many years. And he continuously added new things in there. The rear legs were getting weak, even though I had the glucosamine chondroitin on him. And, I still got his bed here in the room. And the crazy thing is that I tried so hard to accumulate everything I could to help him, but it just wasn't enough, I mean, he was such a loving little animal. I think he was actually hanging around to be with me, At the end there, I was noticing that I was holding him up as he was eating and drinking because he'd fall over eventually. And I said, he'd go December, January, February, he'd fall, especially on a slippery surface. And he was whimpering, and he was carrying on with these kind of like out of nowhere little sounds that he would make when he was laying in the bed. He would all of a sudden make a little sound, and it was very disturbing, Laura. You know what I mean? It was like, my God, what is he talking about? What is he, what's going on there? This is scaring me. I started to say, Joe, you got him away from tragedy, living back there with those people. You're going to get him away. This is how I had to put it to myself. You're going to get him away even more tragedy if you get him out of here and you get him to a safety zone where he's comfortable. If he's not comfortable, that's not life. That's him. That's me sticking around with him just to take another phenobarbital, another potassium bromide. The dog was eating and drinking fine, but the disposition is lost. He looked so sad. He was always like this eye. Don't forget, the eye was operated on, right? The right eye with the corneosa. That eventually lost sight out of that eye, and he was left with only one eye. So, I was saying, oh, Mom, I hate to say it, but, it's coming to the point where I can't. I'm bending. I'm up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning walking with him outside. Some nights are good. Sometimes he's falling down every 15 feet, every 10 feet. I'm bending over, picking him up.
Oh, that's not good. How old are you? You lived a long life.
He was maybe 15, if not 16.
Oh, yeah, that's a long life.
I have a video of me. I have a video of me up in the Hampton Hills saying to him something about he's 9 years old. That was in 2009.
Uh-huh.
So he might have been 16.
Yeah.
But there were days.
That's a long life,
Yeah.
especially, what he went through earlier in his life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he had a little, trauma going on there.
Yeah, he was left by one owner to go to the other, and then that owner became blind and died. You know the story. And not only that, it's that the health issue from where he came from. He went from that type of eating to my mother's type of eating, which was just incredibly different. The quality of eating was different. He had a soft tumor on his chest that went under anesthesia for his first teeth cleaning in 2010. They removed it. And I said, what is that? They said, that's a calcium deposit from his diet. It's not cancerous because it's not hard, but we're going to take it off while he's under anesthesia. He says, all right, do that. But, I did a lot of things with this dog. I remember what you went through with him. It's like I was planning this, and I said, this dog has to have attention. He has bad breath, and he probably has gum disease, and that proved to be right. He had a gum disease, periodontal, which could have dripped down into his inner organs, the kidneys and liver, and hurt him even more, But I did what I could do, and I want to thank you and Tom. And I tried to call you earlier than May 22nd. I mean, earlier than today, but...
Yeah, I saw that you called one day.
It's all right.
Across the looping, and I was like, I got to call Joe back.
Well...
We got it fell.
Good, you're back, and I hope you're healthy, and there's no more...
Yeah, we're not in the house, we're in the carriage house, which is a big, nice apartment above the garage. So we're in there, and it's really nice. Big doors that open up to the garden. Very sunny.
Yeah, that's that gray building, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the building with the stones on it.
Yeah.
Behind the house, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a lot of work to do on our house to be able to move back in, so we're trying to finish up other projects first.
Well, try to get healthy. So we Frankie was healthy up until a certain point, and then things start to go. You got to not telling you what to do, but you got to maintain things earlier than they happen. Like when the dog had a bad back and was slipping 2 years ago. We take X-rays at my vet, and he says, yeah, it comes with age, but he doesn't tell me to give the dog glucosamine chondroitin. A friend of mine does in Burbank, and it worked wonders. So the same thing goes with a human. You and Tom and Len, or whatever's left of Len, you got to maintain stuff very early on, so that it doesn't happen later, and then we'll try this. That's why I think of the dog when you think of yourself. I didn't know what to do if he had seizures coming up. He might have had a brain tumor. How do you know? Nobody tells you, watch out, he's going to have a brain seizure when he's 15. Well, good, he lived 15 years though, Laura. But some people don't make it past 40, 50, and they got all kinds of complications that people in their 90s get. That's what I'm worried about, you guys there, with that atmosphere, the stress,
Yeah, no, it's true. We've been through a rough patch, but Tom, and then Tom found out, he had those chest pains, so now he's got to see a doctor, get his tests, and, but he's definitely, that was like a wake-up call for him, so we work out every morning. We have, these little trampolines, so we work out for 25 minutes or so, and then we eat breakfast, and we just, of course, we always take our vitamins and whatnot, but we're just trying to, put us first before all the work, right?
Yeah.
Key. So, we're definitely getting, I've always worked out, but Tom is always I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that, and he's out the door,
Put it this way, on the subject of dogs. You have a dog, right? Right. Now, follow me on this one. It's right up to what we're talking about. Those dogs need to be walked and fed a certain way every day, and they're attended to by human beings. But we human beings, we don't even take care of ourselves. Like you're saying, he needs a little more exercise, chest pains. These are the things that Tom's what now, 50, 60, he's got to start looking forward to doing a little more exercise and moving around. You know, it's just like a dog. The way you're maintaining that dog is probably sometimes better than when you maintain your own selves. I, I did that with Frankie. You know, I mean, I've lost weight and got thin. I haven't slept since May 22nd. Very good because of this thing. But that's what I'm saying to you and Tom. Watch it with your own stressed out level, and you know we forget things. I wasn't eating for a week after he died. I ate, but I wasn't high. You know, and I'm thinking of your two little dogs. They're so well kept and loved, but the people that are loving them are missing out on stuff. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. No, you have to take care of yourself. I've always taken care of myself pretty good, and that's why, but Tom has always been like, because Tom never goes to doctors, and I don't go to doctors, you get to the point where you think, oh, you're fine, but Tom, you can only go so long on eating certain foods and not exercising, really, and supposedly every other person has heart disease. 50% of this country has heart disease, including people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, so it's something that's very, very concerning, and so we have to really pay attention to our diet, and we have to exercise so we get oxygen into our arteries,
Yeah.
And get everything pumping.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, he's watching videos, and he's learning about it, and he's, definitely committed to changing his habits in that way, which is good. But, before that, plus he's been less active because he's doing all his schoolwork, so he's not doing as much physical labor. So that on top of it, you definitely have to work out. So, so do you work out?
Well, yeah. What I do with the workout is a lot of walking, a lot of singing, a lot of carrying amps and guitars, and a walk after the gig. I'll take a walk to strengthen my. Standing up for an hour, rocking out sometimes can wear you out like an 8-hour job. And then you got to remember one thing: you're standing still. Singing and playing guitar is actually stressing out your body. I take a walk later. I'll drive a car somewhere and I'll walk along the beach or something. Do a few knee bends, move the body around, just keep breathing heavy so that I'm circulating my body past the level of straining it to sing, because singing is an unnatural thing. So is guitar playing. I have aching in my arms from playing for decades the guitar. It's almost like you gotta do 2 workouts a day. Do your job, and then you got to do at least an hour of moving around. Now, there's days I come home, I'm exhausted, and I was taking care of the dog so much. Don't forget, he started out of nowhere in December with these seizures, and I was full-time taking care of him, Laura. I lost weight, got tired, beaten up, bags under the eyes, looking gaunt. My mother was feeding me, saying, "Come on, Joe, you got to get back to normal." And stress came to Tom too with this the bugs that were in the house, lens situation, and him getting on an airplane every week, an airplane back and forth. You lose your routine. And then there was a routine with me and the dog, but it became a routine of uncomfortableness when the dog was, whimpering and looking around the room and he couldn't see good, and then I was picking him up while he's eating and he's falling, and then I'd walk him, and then all of a sudden one day, Laurie, have a miracle day and he's walking fine. The same thing goes for me and Tom, 2 men. We kind of have a way of doing things for a long time, and then the next thing you know, we're kind of stressed out over something, and we don't return to that thing for a while. We don't walk around. We're not happy. We're sitting. We're immobile. It's disgusting what's happened to a lot of men and women,
Absolutely, yeah.
And you could even say Len, what was he doing with the Parkinson's? He should be out walking every day, 15 miles, He should walk into town, keep his body moving, because when you stay too still, like my father was with the Parkinson's, it breeds that shaking, it breeds that disease. It makes it set in more, because you're sedentary, you're sitting there, the disease is just kicking in. You got to move your limbs around. It's like trying to shake off you ever hit your funny bone? It's like trying to shake off a funny bone. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Parkinson's is in a way. And you can't tell this to the person that has the Parkinson's. You can't say that. you should do this and that, because they can't hear you. You just got to walk them around. I used to take walks with my dad, even in the house. I walk him back and forth the hallway, seven times in, 7 times out. Sit him down, bring him to the backyard, and a lot of times when he would fall, I have to pick him up. I said, "Damn it," you know. And that's where I got a lot of experience taking care of Frankie, with taking care of my dad. Both of them named Frank. I said, "Well, I've been through this before, Mom. Now I'm on my own because I'm on my own apartment, and it's like, you know." Basically, it's just me minus you. But my mother was very helpful. I mean, you know, and my sister sold the house, got a chunk of money. She's got her own apartment. She's thinking I'm moving to Vegas. I told my mom about it. My mother's not into it. I said, Mom, I can make a ton more money in Vegas and playing nursing homes there. But, you know, I don't know where life is going. All I know is I miss the dog. And I wanted to thank you especially and Mr. Tom for being in my life to have this dog, you know, to actually have the dog and safe. You guys made it happen for me, you know, and I can't thank you enough, you know. I mean, all I could do is I love you both, and I hope I can help you guys someday with something. I'm just so exhausted, you know.
Yeah, that dog was so blessed to be in your care. That dog is like, it was just meant to be. And we were just like the vehicles for helping you have Frankie in your life because, you know, he didn't have really much of a life before that. So you gave him life. And you're going to see that dog again when you go to heaven. He's going to be there, you know, wagging his tail, so happy to see you. Yeah, he's the sweetest dog. And we love you, and we're here for you. We want you to know that. You know that. We're always here for you. And
Yeah.
Whenever you want to visit, you're always welcome.
Yeah.
Always.
I just wish the best for you both, that you can stay healthy and there's no more hiccups in the road and everything smooths out, and you know, who Len just calms down and starts to look. I discussed this with you before. I hope he starts to look at it like he's 80-something years old, and don't go out, Len, on a bad note. You know what I mean? It's like try to like look at life, you know, that like every day is your last day, and I don't think he's there yet, and a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are not like that. You know.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing half the time. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I'm sad over the fact that, you know, the dog died and I didn't have it together. I had the money to do the stuff. I had money to make it happen. You know, to keep him alive. But you know, I didn't have the power to actually keep him in the condition I'd like to see him in. There's the real heartbreaker, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, I mean, I don't want to sound distant. If you talk to Len, tell him Joe says hello, and
Okay.
we won't cue in on, like, you know, we're not gonna cue in on stuff like Joe says, I hope you feel better. You know, I don't want to do that, you know. I don't want to bring attention to his ailment. Every time people call up and they say, "Tell him I hope he feels better," you know, you say, "Oh no," you know. I don't want to say that to him. I want to keep the peace. Tell him Hollywood Joe says hello. He just wants to, hopes everything's all right, you know, and you know, he'll probably say, "Yeah, say hello to him," you know. I should just call him one day and say hello, because, you know, I've been praying for you guys. I was hoping that maybe he would even, like, you know, at one point, you know, succumb to kindness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you could try and call him, that's for sure. And you know what happened before we moved back, I tried to get reimbursed from him for snow plowing, and we had like $800 we had to spend on snow plowing. So I said to him, "Look, can your portion is $350. Can you write me a check, because we're so broke?"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, no, like he wouldn't give me a check, and he had all these reasons. So when I, and then Tom's like, well, why didn't he pay you? Maybe you weren't, you weren't strong enough. And I'm like, no, that's not it. I said, you know what, you go collect the money because he pays you.
I
And
know.
Tom went over there. Tom
Yeah.
sat outside after we moved into the carriage house, and he was sitting outside on the wall with Glenn for over an hour. They were chatting. Glenn wrote him a check, $350. Next thing you know, Tom saying, oh, tomorrow morning, why don't we make some blueberry pancakes and bring them over to Glenn?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get going over there.
Yeah.
Because I had a father that had Parkinson's, and let me tell you, it's a lonely place, especially for Len at 80 something. Even though he's walking around, I mean,
Right.
where's Tom? I'd just like to say hello to him. Can I?
Well, he left, actually. He was here to get a little bite for lunch, and then he went back out to work.
All right. Let me just say thank you for being there for me that many years ago, and I'm just struggling through this whole thing. I still got his bed on the floor here. I'm looking at his ashes. He had this tiny little plastic bag of ashes. Can you believe it? Tiny little thing, and he was so small. Let me tell you about a number 88. Can I share this with you? Listen to this.
Yeah.
For many years, numerology here. For many years, the number 88 was in my head, Laura, for decades. I don't know what it was. I thought it was the age either my mother or father would pass away at, okay? Dig this.
Yeah.
I go to weigh the day, a week before he was in the emergency room, he was 8.8 pounds. The day I had to send him to heaven, I call it, 8.8 pounds. I had him from January of 2000 and January 25th, 2010 is when you picked him up, to May 22nd of 2017, 88 months. Guess how old my mother is while this is going on? 88. So all these magical little things happened. I mean, the backyard where he peed and crapped is still the way it is. I haven't moved it yet. I'm going to clean it out because I just got an apartment. I'm going to move into the senior housing now down the street with my mother. And the rent will go down $300. Then I can move to another smaller place within the building. So good things are happening. But I really wish that I could have had him with me, little Frankie, where I was going, to this new place. But can you imagine that number 88? I don't know if you believe in that stuff. It's just,
I totally believe in numerology.
It's just unbelievable. When I weighed him that day, and I said, oh my God, he's 8.8 pounds. And, and it's like, I looked at the time that he was with me. The day you got him on January 25th, all right? That day, you know what that was? That was to be exactly 88 months before he went to heaven. And this other girl from New Jersey tells me that the high number 22 is a high vibration number, May 22nd. And she's glad that it happened on that day. So I said, okay, I believe it. I'm not sure what that means. But let me just sound off with one thing. I love you, and I love Tom, and I love Len. And
that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe. We love you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, okay? I love you so much.
You weren't so far away. I wish we could, see each other a lot. We miss you.
All right. We'll talk again, all right?
We'll talk very soon, okay?
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Frankie, I love you. Laura was with us. She helped us.